Yeah.
Now I want to talk about something a little darker, a
Sure.
little deeper. Let's talk about conflict. So I'm sure Mohit and Manuel both have dealt with conflict as being founders,
Yeah.
internal and external. So I'd love to know like that 1-2 conflict stories which just stay with you, and how did you resolve it?
Basically we work with GST. Like we have to get, like GST is a very important component in our business.
Correct.
Because whenever the customer is making a payment through the app, they have to pay GST because we fall under the bracket and it's a thing. But there are so many salons that are non-GST registered.
Correct.
So we were having a problem where how could we tackle this? How can we work with them? And also with the GST registered salons, the problem is that we need to get input credit. Like basically,
correct.
input credit is something that if we are paying something to someone, they need to file it ahead to the government, right? But sometimes they are not able to do that. They don't do that. And at that time, the GST bracket of ours get increased and we have to pay GST irrespective.
Yeah.
So it was a very big issue where we had to, become legit recovery agents instead of startup founders. We had to send guys to some places ki bhai
Correct.
karwa de yaar. Like,
Correct.
so that was one of the conflicts that we had to resolve.
Yeah. Wow, that's a very interesting story.
Right.
What about you, Mohit?
So, I also faced a lot of external pressure when I had really started out because we were undercutting prices a lot, no? All of these people were charging return fares and we were charging one-way fares, while we were actually helping them make more money than they were with the entire business model. But they started feeling defeated by it. They used to call us, they used to start posting 1-star reviews on our listings and be like, okay, this service is not good, don't hire from them and XYZ things. And I was really freaking out about it. I was like, how do I deal with all of these people? But then I was like, okay, wait, I'm going to take a firm stand. I then went to the police station. I filed a defamation complaint against them. And then once I filed that complaint against them is when all of them really backed out because they did not know how to deal with the law. So it can, conflict can always end up two ways, right? You can either back down and fall into a corner, or you can stand up to it and decide to take a stand against something which is objectively wrong. I am not doing anything wrong to them. They're just salty about the fact that the business is creating value for people. So that was a big lesson for me. And the bigger challenge for me was at this time my co-founder had already left and I was like a 24-year-old kid going to the police station to file all of these complaints and all. So yeah, that was a big lesson for me in terms of standing up against bullies in business, and this is just the start of it. I anticipate that in the car rental business in the coming years, a lot of the people who have made it big have had political or police connections to go forward. So I feel this is something that I'm going to need going ahead. And that's where the whole people building skills comes in, because I take a long-term perspective on all conflicts. If there is any pushback from any company on any invoice, and where I feel even though they are being unreasonable, does it matter in the long run? Does this 10,000 rupee bill matter in the long run? No, right? This trip doesn't matter. Let it be, let it pass. So that I really like the fact that I've adopted that approach with respect to conflict resolution. Don't look at the short term. You will just grow if you have that long-term perspective. If you give people something they're not expecting, if they also know they are just pushing back for no reason, just to have that upper hand, and once you give that to them, then they are actually having the underhand on that, because then they feel they have nothing else to say after that. So yeah, I feel conflict resolution, I think it overall helps to be the larger person than to fight over petty things, and that approach has really helped us.
Yeah.
So conflicts also happen with customers. So we deal with so many customers on a daily basis. We do around 300 appointments every day. It's not possible all of them will go perfectly. There might be some issue with the manager, some issue with the slot, some issue with the service. So we had to kind of set up a separate call center to handle these issues as well. So
wow.
there is a dedicated team who's just handling all of these customer conflicts, the conflicts with the manager, slots unavailability and all of that.